Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it may be for you where you're located. Sorry for the tardiness. Did you see my hair is wet? It's so hot. It's actually better for my hair to be wet so that way it can keep me cooler a little longer. Okay, today I want to talk about what's in a name and gaslighting and dividing and the ME community, and let's talk about it. I'm going to open the phone lines and then have people call in and give their perspectives, their opinions, their views. All of that I ask is that we use clean language when we call in to express whether it be frustrations or anxieties or issues that have transpired that seem to be dividing a community that should not happen. Okay, I'm going to start with giving some facts. These are facts I personally know from a source that I value and that is actually on the IMEC council. So they would know. One of the speakers' presentations is no longer a part of the IMEC Mandela Effect Conference. It's been removed. Another fact that I know is that the Dark Wolf's Den, he did do a call out on his channel for anybody interested in participating in the IMEC conference. So if you're not subscribed to him, check my homepage. Make sure you are, because he does a radio show and then other things along with these conferences. He's on the board after all. He did not preview any of these before they went, after going through editing, before they were put out live for public consumption. Let me see where I can see the chat. If anybody has actually been to a conference, put a 1 in the chat. Just type in a 1 saying that, yeah, I've been to a conference. I've been to several, some of them 1-day conference, some of them 3 or 4-day conference. And we can even minimalize this to, did you buy a ticket and go to a concert? When you went to, let's do it from a concert, and while you guys are answering, whether you've been to a conference or not, we can put this in the perspective of a concert. You buy the ticket and you go to this concert. They're performing live for you. You get a pre-show band. The starter band will come out, and then the headlining band will come out. But if the headlining band that comes out only plays the same song over and over and over again, instead of playing the collection of songs that they have written and have put out that we've actually come to see, wouldn't we be a little upset? Now, let's look at this. This is after introspecting myself, watching people tear down others, their name, for Christ's sake, and gaslighting another individual with false information, and then just watching this manifest into chaos, which was not necessary. Okay, so you've got fact number 1. The Dark Wolf's Den did not preview any of these presentations. The year before, he was there, they were done live, and he recorded them, and then he put them out. Now, I do hope that, IMEC has the time to, I don't know if you guys got to enjoy this, but Moneybags put up his presentation on his channel. It was off the charts awesome. Now, when you're looking at 7 days, 8.5, or 7 to 8.5 hours of live footage and having to screen and scan through it to find that favorite content creator, or to find those ones that you wanted to hear that you didn't get a chance to hear speak, it's very difficult, especially it being 7 or 8 days of, this type of footage. So I do hope that it gets broken down by speaker, so we get to click on them and see their presentation without the intermissions and things like that they took in between. Now, so that's fact number one. He didn't get to preview any of it. Fact number two, one of the presentations has totally been removed, gone. It had, it was found to have no merit and actually, basically, probably condescending to the community as a whole. It's gone. Poof. Not even available for view. So, now let's get into the next part. I need to open the phones. And what's in a name? Hang on, I didn't, Uber conference. Just bear with me just one second. Usually I'm more organized than this when I come on live for you guys, but you know how it goes. I reached out to somebody after having a pretty lengthy conversation with somebody in whom I trust. I trust and value their perception. I trust and value what they say to me. Even though sometimes it seems like we're talking over one another. That's not the case. I glean, I grow, I observe, and I do listen to what people are telling me, and then I take it within. And I did reach out to an individual earlier in a private conversation, and it definitely was worth it. This person is near and dear to my heart, and I know they were also, although not like the ones I'm going to bring up here, were frustrated, and in frustration and in confusion said things out of haste that they regret. Okay, and I know I from this person's personality, that they're not so dug into the ground in with their thought process, that they're immovable, that they're able to see from the other side, to see what kind of damage or harm that it could have caused for another individual whom was set up and then hoodwinked, thinking that they were invited onto a Mandela affected platform to speak on what they were presenting, and then bashed and thrown under the bus. Now, with that being said, I know Miss Eileen Colts personally. She is one of the co-authors of Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe. She's definitely a Mandela affected individual. Her good name is one that I'm going to talk about tonight. It's been dragged through the mud. And how can anybody drag anybody's good name through the mud when they haven't walked a minute, let alone a mile, to even know this person? So stop. We need to introspect. We need to introspect what we're saying, what we're doing. Why are we not taking into consideration the repercussions of our actions and what that does to a completely innocent, set up from the get-go? Oh, heartbreaking, you guys. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring up another name, Brian Stavely. The entire week that the IMEC conference was going on, he was being fed disinformation to get a passionate reaction out of this man. This man is a truther. This man I respect. Again, they're feeding disinformation, causing him to go into question on why he wasn't invited. He was invited. If you were if you're subscribed to Dark Wolf Den's channel, he did an open invite for people to come and speak. But it's not easy. And if any of us know anything, that is that we cannot know every single person that is doing YouTube platforms or presenting all of that. It's virtually impossible, because some of these platforms, I had to search them out in order to, from what I heard, to then see if it be true, and then to validate, and my heart broke. And again, I'm back to Eileen. I couldn't believe it. These people obviously haven't taken the time to know this woman. Her heart is gold, you guys. Do you not know that this woman would do anything for you? Anything. Oh my gosh. Anyways, and Brian Stavely. Why are you making him look like a freaking buffoon? Stop it. Why would you want to give him information that, number one, you don't know for a fact? You're throwing gossip and drama around. Why? Why? I was messaging him truth. It started off that not only was he not invited, but neither was Dan from Scare Performance. I sent him a message. I said, that's not true. Dan was invited. Suso was invited. They declined. There's a huge difference in saying that somebody was just like blackballed. Brian Stavely was not blackballed by no means whatsoever. But it's virtually impossible to know every single platform. You put out an open invitation on your platform. You are the secretary treasurer of now an incorporation that started as an in-person live conference where it made logical sense that we don't want a bunch of people going up and saying the same thing over and over and over, right? So the conference in person would build. And if you have different presentations or presenters, they're going to come in and they're not going to repeat exactly what, the person before them said. It'd be boring. But by looking at it, we learn. We learn, we grow, we glean. All right. So by feeding Brian, whom is a passionate person, he's a very passionate, he takes what he does seriously. He walks the walk, he talks. And to tell him this, to just bring that passion to a boil, to a head, made him look like a fool. Spend some time with him. We don't all have to agree from where the Mandela effect has taken us to the rabbit holes and the deep dives that we go into with introspection, growth, gleaning from one another and growing. We don't. I have no what would you call it? I have no horse no betting horse in the game or whatever, whether the earth is flat or round. I don't know. I haven't been out far enough to be able to observe it. The closest thing that I had was when I had that I would call that one an OBE, where I was taken and I thought I was gone for hours, where I was only gone for 15 minutes. That video is available on my channel if you would like to look at it. And again, I didn't see it oscillating, and what was presented that looked to me like Earths were translucent. They were light blue. They were absolutely gorgeous, but they didn't seem to be oscillating. Actually, I was standing on the 8th, and it seemed like it was more of like stacked, like ascending and descending from these ladders of perception and awareness. And also, this is a fact. I want to express that nobody from IMEC has appointed a mediator of any kind to try and bridge this gap. When you spend some time in thought within yourself, I need to turn it on. I'm sorry, I need to put it on live chat. When you spend some time with introspection and self-evaluation, you can, like the things that I'm bringing up. I wouldn't want to attend a 3-day conference where each speaker is saying the exact same thing. But now we look at the difficulty level of going 7 days, 7.5 to 8 hours straight. And then a lot of the times where I popped in and out, I expressed my frustration that I didn't hear anything about the Mandela effect. Now, mind you, I didn't get to see Moneybags. I didn't get to see Eileen. I didn't get to see Shane. I didn't get to see, when I was popping in, it was people I did not know. And, I caught the mental illness lady, and it turned me off. I'm like, what does this have to do with the Mandela effect, and why is she not even talking about it? It's not a mental illness. Let's get back to the basics here. We're affected. We have that in common. And from there, we grow, and then we can glean from one another in such a colorful way that we're losing the beauty by allowing those to to victimize. Even though I know there's no victim, it's a learning experience all the time. But don't use Brian. Don't. You need to stop it. Why would you provoke a passionate man who wants to walk a walk that he is trying to keep people healthy and sovereign and free into making him look like he's an idiot because it seems like he just doesn't have the information correct, and he's coming out on these platforms as being very upset that he was overlooked when that's so far from the truth. Why would you be telling him this stuff? Stop. And I'm going to say something about Brian. When I messaged him truth, when I said no, Dan was invited, he refused. Bam! It resonated something in his heart. So don't think he doesn't have discernment, people. Don't think he can't see through who is, feeding into something that's going to divide us and to rip us apart. Don't think he doesn't remember who told him what. He's a very, very smart guy. He's not a buffoon, as some of are now portraying him as. But we need to use our own discernment on who we spend time with. Always use discernment. Is someone there to take a spoil, to use you, abuse you, and to try to discredit your good name? And by gosh, when I open up the phones, if you are coming onto my platform and you are coming here and going to tell me that if you saw me in the chat, you would have banned me in my house, on my platform, I would have hung up on you. I would have just, bam, hung up. Anybody that thinks that this entire thing was blown out of proportion and that several people were dragged through the mud unnecessarily, as this was a learning experience, and thinks that this was completely nutty and just bananas, put a banana in the chat stream, because it was freaking bananas. It went chaotically crazy. In the meantime, people got hurt, and I don't even think that Brian is even aware of how his name, his good name, whether we agree with all of his talking points or not, he's been dragged through the mud. He's been made a fool of. And those of us with the eyes to see can see it. Don't do it. Don't. Just stop it. When you don't know the facts, don't say anything. Bridle our tongues, people. We need to bridle our tongues. And as for Eileen, I talked to somebody earlier today after having a lengthy conversation with somebody whom I trust, about one person that I thought would be worthy enough to actually talk about what happened in the midst of all of this buffoonery, all of this feeding into this narrative of lies and deception, cruelty, and making her a target. And that's what we were observing. We were observing reactions from the lies that we were filling like Brian Stavely with, um, or even the beautiful Eileen. Now, I'm gonna I'm gonna straight out say Brian Stavely feels that Eileen Coates threatened him. Now, I've met her in person. I've known her for years. I have a really hard time believing that that happened. Is that hearsay? Is that a lie? Was it a miscommunication through a text? Was it a text message, or like how we comment here? Was it a miscommunication in interpretation of a message that she may have wrote? You know, when somebody's being downtrodden and their name is being dragged through the mud, and it is, number one, not deserved, not deserved. You're targeted. She was set up, you guys. She was invited to a platform where they have a substantial audience that actually agreed with, like, flat Earth, for example. She knew that what she was presenting, because of when you get to a point in this walk that we go through, we understand that anything's possible. You want to create a flat Earth? Create it. Walk it, live it, experience it. She had the discernment and the wherewithal to say, are you sure? Are you sure that you want me to come on? Because your base is, mainly a flat Earth, and my presentation, is, of this, type of possibility or probability. All right? And they said, no, it's not going to be a problem. No. They baited her in. And then she was pummeled on by 3 men. And there she was. She was cut off as she was trying to explain. She was silenced. I couldn't watch the entire thing. My heart broke. I couldn't believe it. She was baited. And from her perspective, let's look at it from hers. This is before the conference started, all right? So, yeah, she'll go on other platforms to promote the IMEC. That's what she was there for. And what could she speak on except for her presentation? My goodness, you guys. I did, however, although I couldn't watch it, I did, however, see in the comment section that one of the people on the panel apparently went back and watched and seen and didn't like the way that they looked towards Eileen. And I have to say, that's a person that has some humility, understanding, and knows exactly what happened there and how distasteful it looks. How distasteful it looks to any outsider who would stumble into that, seeing something like that happen. Anyways, if a threat was misconstrued, I can almost say this with the fact, because when he told me that, I was set back. It set me back, because from Eileen that I met in person, the Eileen that I've known for years, the Eileen that goes on Unbiased and on the Fence with Shane Robinson, that's not in her heart. But then again, what was going on? What was happening to her? She had already been probably on this platform where she was. It's heartbreaking. I'm not even going to bring up that channel name because it doesn't resonate with me. I've never even heard of them before. And that brings me back to the point of the broadness of this community and how people will use other people or their good name and not have their facts straight. Maybe it's hearsay or to cause drama or to create a divide, and are harming others. Harming. Do you not know the laws of karma? Do you not know universal law? Do you not know that this will rubber band on you 3 times, 7 times, or 10 times? You're going to have to redo steps. Because, one thing that we do know about this journey, at least from my experience, my observation, when the gifts clicked on, you feel special. You feel enlightened. You are now aware. You're awake. But guess what, my friends? If you don't humble yourself, that's as far as you're going to get. You will not hone in and realize that the gifts, these amazing abilities that we're all born with, all of us are born with, are there for everybody. Everybody has them to a certain degree, whether they're aware or not. You will not get any more strength or any more focus towards what it is that you want to, as like I like to say, E equals MC squared. Energy or your intention equals the matter you created squared. Okay? You're just going to still stay, and you can do intention and barely affect your little field around you. Do you want to do something that is good for all mankind? Well, you need to humble yourself, my friend. You need to humble yourself. And when I, as an observer, I was in that chat room on a platform of Karen B. And when I was in there, that caller that came in and postulated that they're trying to bridge, the communities, actually did exactly opposite. He gaslit. He gaslit and intensified the frustration and the division that was going on. I don't know. Was that the intentions? Does this person really not understand the true oneness or the authentic identity of each sovereign being here having and creating an experience? Back to the Mandela effect. Okay, we have been affected. We have seen this amazing phenomena. With this amazing phenomena, we continue on. We grow, we glean, we move about, we learn from one another. If you were to try to put me into a box even by looking at the channels I'm subscribed to, good luck. Because I have an assortment of people that I glean, grow, listen to, and expand, self-reflect, and get wisdom drops. Voynich, for example, you may find him brass or whatever on the surface. Look a little harder, guys. Look harder. He drops not only knowledge, but wisdom, and it's there. If you're able to discern it and pick it up and resonate, look beyond the surface into the heart. Get your discernment cranked up. But again, like I said, if you don't humble yourself as these come into your awareness, you won't get the pointed discernment. My problem that I have, and I'll be honest, is I cannot, I have a problem with discernment. I tangle myself up with people who end up, either threatening or trying to create harm or drag my name through the mud. Because I can't see anything else but the equality in their true identity. And so, with that being said, what I choose to do is to walk away in peace, not wanting to create any disharmony within them. Because why? Why would I want to create disharmony in anybody else? That is not in me anymore. We move past these things. We grow past them. And respect. And I'm going to keep, I want to just mainly focus on, for me, until I'm going to open the phones here in just a second. For me, it is Eileen Colts, okay, and Brian Stavely, which you would think are completely polar opposites from their perspectives, observations, gleaning, growing, and understanding. There's more to them than that, you guys. Are you not looking at the depth? Because they have different directions in where they go and grow and what they're observing and experiencing and sharing publicly, allowing us the benefit of being able to glean, grow through the wisdom that they're expressing out on any platform that we do here. Can you not pick up or resonate with anything these people say? I find that I resonate with so much from both of them. I don't see opposing sides there. I see one, and I also see their true identity. When we can see the true identity of all of us around us, It's profound and it's beautiful. I'm still growing. I'm still gleaning. I don't have mastery over everything that that's come into my awareness yet. I'm able to say that a year from now, we may be talking about something completely different because I have not dug my heels in to the point where I'm immovable. Neither has Eileen. Don't mistake that. Don't mistake the knowledge, the wisdom that she's sharing with you freely, mind you, free. This conference was free. And tear her down because she is freely sharing things about meditations, which, there's a lot of us in the beginning of this awakening process, we have a problem with clearing our mind. And then we've got scriptures that say an idle mind is the devil's playground. We got inner battles that we need to fight. She can help you to quiet your mind so then you can hear that still small voice. How, if your mind or your monkey mind is just going off the charts, how can you hear and glean? Everything's accessible to everybody, but we learn from one another to connect and then receive. And where we go from that flagship, let's just, from the Mandela effect, and let's talk about, who I would consider the father of Mandela effect is Moneybags 76 or 73. I don't know. Which one do you remember? Mandela effect in itself. His voting videos. Simply putting out Mandela effects and having us vote. Do you remember this or that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. So, and the Dark Wolf's Den is not new to the scene. My goodness gracious. No, he's not. He's been researching this phenomena for years. He put on a conference last year, but it was in person, but they did record it and they released it for us to be able to watch for those who couldn't attend. Awesome. Awesome. But if we were in person at a conference that lasted 7 days long, then each of the speakers would have fed and built onto the next. Being online, live to the public, popping in and out as time permitted, that's where, the learning curve comes in. Do you guys want for the Mandela Effect Conference to not be freely available next year? Because we're listening to people that are feeding us false information, having a reaction because they know that we're passionate. Don't use Brian Stavely in this manner. I don't care. I have my own thoughts and opinions on that man. You can't change the way I feel about him. I don't want to pick your friends. Don't pick mine. Don't try and feed me things about somebody else, especially when I know different. And I am not trying to throw these people under the bus, by no means. I'm trying to highlight some things that maybe all of us need to look within and then to reevaluate our position on things. And I'm going to open up the phones. Please keep the language clean. And remember, you're in my house. And, I have to say, Karen B. handled that with such grace and class when somebody, calls into her house. Think of these YouTube platforms as you're visiting somebody's house. It's their house. You need to know their rules. We have moderators that go, into different, that also, will moderate several other platforms. But you know what? You want to know the difficulty about being a moderator is you have to know each different house and their house rules. And so don't think that being a moderator is an easy job. So, that being said, that I'm going to pull up the phone number. While I'm pulling up the phone number, I'm going to explain another thing that I observed, I watched, I couldn't freaking believe it. But what was more interesting was as soon as Jerry from Dark Wolf's Den came in, it was like not a peep more about how it should have been, would have been, could have been, and what these lovely moderators, whom were asked last minute to come in and moderate, and Jerry knows he didn't have it on slow mode. So when you've got hundreds of people chatting away, It's tough on the moderators. It is. And they were being told how they did their job wrong. What? What? And corrected, chastened, how they need to do it better, and blah 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 blah. And even calling on to another lady, Karen B's platform, and saying I would have banned you for saying this is crap when somebody's saying you got a mental illness. What? You don't ban people for having a difference of opinion, not on something that is public, that was meant for public consumption. And the donations, them having to turn the chat stream off, stopped super chats. That's heartbreaking in itself because, they're on a shoestring budget, and contributions meant a lot to what's going to happen next year. And what changes are they going to make or have to make next year? Excuse me. In order to make it, let me find the phone number. In order to make it so that it is suitable, I'm going to put the phone number over my face there. Okay. Yeah, stay on mute because the calls are taken in order when you come in. And also mute the show. And I want to also say that the phones can handle up to 5 callers at a time. You can hear everything going on live. And I want you guys to call. I want you to express what's going on within you, what you observed. And where we went wrong. Why would we point out certain individuals? And I'm talking about 2. The 2 that I'm talking about are because I spent time with both of them. Both of them. I spent enough time with Brian. He actually did an interview here. And after I get done here, guys, I'm going to put Rippin' Rabbit's radio show on my homepage. Brian Stavely is making a guest appearance on Rippin' Rabbit radio show. And he's got a YouTube channel. And I know that a lot of people, which we found out when Brian came on over here, they come to listen to what Brian has to say. He's an interesting guy, you guys. I give credit where credit is due. He draws attention because he is one that will walk the walk and speak from his heart. But when he's being fed BS and lies just to get a rise out of him, why? Why would people do that? Why? Don't. Stop it. You don't need to do that. Don't defame his name. Don't drag him through the mud. And don't do that to Eileen. Introspect. 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 What is going on within us? What is going on within us? Do we want to be able to have this conference available to us next year? Or do we want it to have to be shut down and have to pay for tickets in order to even come in? It's in my heart, my hopes that they actually do it live like they did the year before. Hopefully all this nonsense with the, social whatever ends and they could do it live and then they can record them and then put them out for us, for those who could not make it. But it would be a huge challenge in itself to go for day in, day out, 7.5 to 8.5 hours of straight streaming with all different speakers and people coming and going at different times for, for it not to sound, number one, repetitive, and number two, even if they just start with, okay, I from the Mandela effect, I want to see Eileen's presentation in full. Couldn't find it. It's too hard. The way that it's set up right now as a big glob, of streams, it's difficult to find a speaker that you actually wanted to listen to. And that's why I give accolades to Moneybags for putting his up on his channel, because if you watch it, it's awesome. Completely about the Mandela effect. But again, a concert. We go to a concert, we buy a ticket, and they're singing the same song over and over and over and over again. What? Wouldn't we say, excuse me, I want my money back, right? And to block or ban somebody for having an opinion is and everybody has the right to a perspective. Everybody. If they say that they think it's crap, why would you think that's worthy of banning them? Because later on there may be a speaker that same person may say, okay, this is awesome. We each have our points of perception. We each have our sovereignty, we have our observations, and where we go with our observations. Come on, guys, the phones are open. Call in. I want people to call in and share. Because if you call in and say, no, Michelle, I think you're wrong. And then tell me where I'm wrong. These are things that I observed. I observed the moderators being chastened. I observed, because of course they weren't doing their job right. And there's a better way. I got a better way. Okay. And then I observed in Karen B's where everybody was frustrated. Someone calling in and saying, I would have banned you. I mean, on her platform. The first thing that they said was demeaning, belittling, like, of a higher authority. And then saying they're wanting to speak on the behalf of IMEC and bridge this gap. And I want to say, for a fact, you guys, nobody has been appointed. Nobody asked me to do this stream. Nobody from IMEC, and nobody, I don't know. Well, how are you trying to divide this up? It's Mandela affected, period. Come back together, guys. There's no degrees of separation. There's just degrees of the narrow path that we walk out and what we glean and grow from one another. It's different. We're allowed to be different. Why would we think anything else? Okay, we've got a caller. And we got a couple. Hold on a second. I need to turn my desktop speakers on my audio so they can hear you. And okay, 727. You are live on Awake and Activate. What do you have to add to this conversation?
Hey, Michelle, did you say 727?
Yes, I did, and it is you.
Well, you know who this is.
Do I?
Eileen.
Do I? Well, I'm sorry if pointing this out in this way has caused any harm or
No.
because that's not my intentions. It's not.
You haven't. You're just very brave to even mention it. I've been asked not to talk about it anymore because it reflects badly on the conference, and
nope.
I don't think this is about the conference anymore. I think it's about certain people hating on certain people. I don't know how I became the focus because I'm not on the conference board. So the speakers, I actually contacted them and said, could I do a presentation? And I had to put in a synopsis of what that presentation would include. And then I was allowed to. And then we all came up with the idea of doing a channel montage. And they're like, Eileen, you know a lot of channels. Can you invite people? And I invited all of you, everybody probably, in this chat, as many emails as I could find. And then I sent it out to Flat Earth channels. I was like, well, hang on a minute. They need to be in the channel montage too. So
because there's no difference. Mandela effect's Mandela effect, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I did, I thought, was an extension of inclusion, but I literally got my hand bit off. It was like, next time I got to think, who am I reaching out to? Who am I trying to include? And how will they react to me if I do that?
Especially before you go on their platform.
Well, I've been on Gypsy Road 3 times just to talk about Mandela effect, so I thought we were all cool there. I thought it was all fine because I know a lot of people in the chat room there, and they know me. So when I went on and I couldn't talk about anything without them saying some really crude stuff, I was like, something's changed here, and I wasn't sure what it was, So I just stayed on, listened, laughed, and got out of there.
Uh, you just got quiet. You know,
I didn't know why though. I was like, why were they nice to me 3 times, and then this time, it's that I saw in a comment that it was set up that way, that they planned it that way because I was being a part of IMAX. So that was the only misunderstanding. Is maybe they thought I was on the board and that I ignored people by not asking them to come in. But Jerry Wolf put out announcements. He asked everybody. It's not my place. So when they asked me about why didn't I send Brian an email to be in the channel montage, that was Vonich on the Gypsy Road Show, I said I did. I said I sent it to Eric, and I said, Eric, can you pass this on to Truth Seeker 69, Karen B., Brian Stavely, because you've got all their emails. Like, they always go on each other's live streams.
mm-hmm.
So that's all I said. But then that channel got to him and said
that wasn't even what they were telling him.
Yeah,
it wasn't the montage email. It was why wasn't he invited to even speak? I mean, these people were filling Brian full of lies. I watched.
I know.
Oh.
I know. I said that Brian was invited to speak and declined. But all I said was I sent him the email for the channel montage, and I don't know if he's going to go in that or not. That's all I said, because I'm only helping with the montage. I don't know who was invited, who wasn't invited. I'm not on the board. I have no position of power. So I was really struggling to say, hey, I'm trying to include flat earthers. But then that show took it further, and they told Brian that I emailed them, I'll only come on your show if I can trigger and flip flat earthers to be
so not your character again. Oh my God.
I know. So the funny thing is that went on for like a week, and then I got a notification of Ashley's show in the UK. She's got a really, her reality shifters or reality sliders.
I'm not. See, I that's what I'm saying. I'm not subscribed to all these people. When I was hearing this stuff, I had to search for them. Mandela effect community is freaking huge. How?
It's huge.
How could we possibly reach out to every single person that's putting out a platform that we even know of? I mean, it would be virtually impossible.
I know loads of Mandela affected channels in the UK because I used to live there, but there weren't Mandela effects back when I lived there. But I still know a lot of channel producers there, and I just listened in, and they both came on. And Eric said from Gypsy Road, the ones who set me up to come on their show and just like trash me for 2 hours, he told Brian on that show that I emailed him, and he goes, let me read the email, and he reads one line of like 4 or 5 lines that says, are you sure you want to have me on, because flat earthers might get triggered, because my Mandela effect presentation was about space anomalies that could be impacting the magnetosphere, which could be impacting the Schumann resonance, which could be impacting brain waves, which might be the reason why they're chemtrailing so much. So I had like a 40-minute presentation on that, and I hope you go see it. It's on my channel.
It is?
You guys
Okay.
want to see it.
I do want to see it. I enjoyed watching Moneybags. I had to come off camera, guys, so I could turn the lights off, because it's really, really hot where I'm located. So, and I know you. And when Brian told me that you threatened him, I was like, wait a minute.
The first I've heard of a threat
is
because
so
when I
not
went
you.
on Ashley's show, when I went on to her show, they were both on there. And I tried to phone in, and I said, put me on with Brian and Eric, and I'll read the whole email. And then they wouldn't put me on, so I put it in the chat. I said, here's what the email says. It says, are you sure you want me to have me on with my presentation? Because it might trigger your flat earth subs. Mm-hmm. But I love them, and they don't mind me, so it should be fun. Mm-hmm. And he purposefully left all that out and said, to Brian, I warned them that I would come and flip flat earthers, so Brian was calling me a flat earth infiltrator.
Trigger them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and do you see how the diss information by lying to Brian, using Brian
emailing
as like
Eric,
a,
and I
a
said,
fool, and he's
if
not.
you don't stop lying to Brian, I'm going to make a video about this, but not about Brian. I was going to make a video about everything Gypsy Road was saying, because on one live stream they'd say Eileen Colts is a liar, flat Earth infiltrator.
Yeah,
Then
let's not mention
one,
that channel channel name or give them any attention, because I didn't bring up that channel name on purpose. I do not see merit in that channel, so or to promote it in any form. I know where I saw you, and I know what they did.
Just pull it down after the live stream, then, so that you don't have
no.
channel
I just wanted to say, for FYI, let's not promote someplace that causes division between one thing that we have in common, which is the Mandela effect.
Well, I said to that channel, I have proof that you're lying to Brian, and if you don't tell him that, I'm going to do a video on this. Mm-hmm. And then I think that might be the threat, that I'm going to do a video. And then people who are very loving and supportive reached out to me, and they're like, don't do a video on it, just drop it. They're going to find somebody else to hate on next week. You'll be long forgotten in a month. And I'm like, but it's really hard when people lie about you to not stand up for yourself and say,
it's your name, honey.
That's the lie.
Your name. They are trampling on your good name. They're trampling on Brian Staveley's good name.
But
you know,
why?
I can
why
guarantee you.
Why are they doing that? Why me? I have no power. I have 2,000 subs. I have no power. Why me?
Easy target, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
why did they target me?
Figured.
By that? Why have I been targeted by that group, and why did that happen?
Target Moneybags, because everybody knows him, and he's got 40,000 subs, and he stood up for me, and he's a sweetheart, you know.
Oh,
They're
my
not going
gosh.
to target Jerry Wolf, because everybody knows him and loves him, and Shane the same, and Eva.
No, Shane was targeted by this crazy group that's been targeting me, that seems to be trying to target several other platforms, and I have never ever had to use my wrench. But I was in there, and you and him were doing your weekly thing, and your rhythm between you and Shane was not your normal rhythm. You know how you guys talk, and before you go forward. Okay, that it was off, and I kept seeing Shane like looking, and it looked like he was looking at the chat, and then I saw the same exact person who came in from that group to cause friction and disharmony here.
You see, I can't see the chat when I'm on live with Shane. I have a blank screen.
Well, I used my wrench in there. That was the first time ever. And all I did was I removed their comment. I will not block or do any of that in somebody else's platform unless I'm told to do so. So then you guys started then rhythming. As soon as I removed their comment, and then they knew then I was in the room, and then they're like, ooh, I got banned from over there, and she's got a wrench in here, and then they left, and you guys just flowed from then on out, and then another time was when Shane did his Friday call-in show. I've only used it in there twice. Was another pseudonym that was in there, and they'll make comments like everything's okay, and then they said something when Sherry was on the phone that was very pointed and distasteful, and there was nothing what Sherry was talking about that deserved that, and then I removed that comment. And Shane didn't know what the heck was going on, because they didn't want to, tell all you guys, hey, we got some problems here. But most of the platforms are aware of this eclectic group. But then, for this to happen, it's like, are we going? I'm going to ask your opinion on this, Eileen. Are we going through a great separation where none is needed? I mean, do you feel like there's becoming some kind of a gulf between, or somebody is purposefully trying to come in and cause a great divide between the groups, and is feeding off that negative energy that they are postulating and propagating? Like the situation that you found yourself in, surrounded by 3 men, victimized. I don't like to use that term, victim. I don't. But it it broke my heart because I know your heart, and you're tough, you're strong. At the same time, you're so tender. You would give someone the shirt off your back. You're a very, very loving person. And when Brian said you threatened him, I was like, no, 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 no. And as for the Voynich, I talked to somebody yesterday, several hours. I am not putting myself in a position of a bridge builder, and I want to make sure that's clear. I'm not trying to be a bridge maker here. I want to tell what I've observed. I want the truth, period, just the truth. What I seen, what I witnessed, what I saw come from it, what I saw then right before our eyes, what I've heard, and all of this BS that has caused nothing but chaos, disharmony, pain, discrediting people's good name, and harm, dividing, where there shouldn't be any, because we are all still from that one phenomena, Mandela affected. From where we go from there, that's narrow, that's our path, that's our walk. But let's stick with do you feel that? I'm sorry, I know I just went off on a tangent. I'm pretty emotional about this, but I've taken a little time before coming out and talking about this because of I had to bridle my emotions, basically, before I came out and wanted to discuss this openly and allow people to call in. And so do you feel like there's a separation going on here, or is it a created separation?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, I've got nothing against Brian Staveley or Karen B or whoever was talking about me, because I think they were just being fed misinformation. So I'm still not mad at any of the people who were fed a lot of lies.
Honey, let me say something first on that. They weren't talking about you. Okay, let me make sure that this is clear. This was in a chat room where your name was brought up, probably in regard to that platform that you were on, where they trampled on you without a cause. And then it was brought up on another platform, and we were in the chat. And then he said, she's threatened me. And I was like, no, I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time.
But threatened with what? Because I've never spoken to him.
I don't know, violence. The way that he's made it sound was violence. But then again, like I said, where did he hear that from? Is somebody feeding him a load of caca, which I watched. I watched it on Facebook.
I don't think
freaking whole
anybody
week.
Who knows me would think that I would ever.
I know. Oh,
for God's sakes! I catch cockroaches and set them free. So how could I ever threaten violence to a human being?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy. But I did email the show that you don't want me to mention, and I said, look, if you don't stop telling these lies about me to Brian, I'm going to do a video and show what really was said and what really was meant, so that people know I didn't lie.
If you choose to do something, you could do unlisted and give it to me, and I will be happy. I will be more than happy, not to watch it, but to get it into Brian's hands personally, where he can watch it.
Well, I emailed him all the emails from the show that said, it's not me, it's Brian. It's not me, it's Brian. And I thought, okay, if you're going to keep blaming this on another channel, because I knew it wasn't Brian, I just sent him all those emails. And I said, look, this guy is telling you that I've said things that I haven't. And then when I tell him to stop saying those things, he says it's not me, it's Brian. So that's the only thing I ever sent Brian. So I'm sure he didn't feel threatened by emails showing that he's being blamed for things by another person.
Can you give me one second, Eileen? Because I do try to make a point. If somebody super chats, I definitely want to read that. Oh my gosh, it's Paul Martinson. I'm like, I've been sent an angel. I really have, that has been just blessing this platform like none other. I don't even know what to say. He said, people shouldn't be so fragile, especially if in a chat. There are so many texts that all come out at once in a live stream. don't let the whole divide and conquer thing supersede the main goal. If you let that happen, they win. Exactly. Why am I
Great
coming out
point.
and shining a light on this? That's why that's what the driving force is, to shine a light with the truth, the fact. I started in the beginning. I don't know if this one played commercials in the beginning or not. When I come on OBS, sometimes it does that crap. But the facts are, the number one fact. Jerry put out a call out on his channel for anybody interested. They had to be done in a certain way because they had to be pre-recorded. Number two, that one of the speakers has been completely removed from the entire conference. Gone. Their history. Fact. That's a fact. Number three, the moderators in there. They said, could you put it on a slow chat? Jerry said that he couldn't figure out how to get into because how they've changed YouTube's setup. They always keep changing the software on us. Yeah. But to get in there, to be able to put it on slow mode, because they couldn't keep up. But saying something is crap is not enough to ban or block somebody. So those are the truths. These are things that I've seen. And then I've seen, like I said, with my own eyes, my own ears, I was there. Somebody call into, it's like calling it, if it was, I would call into your house and slam you. Say, if I was a moderator in there, I would have banned you. I mean, like, she handled that with grace, I have to say.
So I got to hear it, Michelle. I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the worst that they said about me was that I was satanic, Luciferian, a witch, but that wasn't those guys. That was another channel.
That's probably from this other group,
guys,
sweetheart. That's this other group that I taught.
Yeah, that's the other group. And then they said I was a lying flat Earth infiltrator. So that's not a terrible insult. It's not true, because people who know me know that I'm not a globalist or a flat earther. Because I really
everything's possible, lady. I know you.
Yeah, because of the holographic universe. If the majority think it's flat, it'll probably be experienced that way. And if the majority think it's round, that group will experience it that way.
On the
so
quantum
everybody
level,
knows my position. Yeah. I'm like you. I have the same position on it. So everybody knows that I'm not.
And you're understanding. It's just.
I'm not a flat Earth shill. I like flat earthers because they're very creative. They're thinking out of the box,
Yes.
and they're looking at science. They're going, hang on a minute. If this is true, then how does this happen? How many people actually look at science outside of flat earthers? Almost none. It's true.
And they do. They are out of the box thinkers. And you know what? Like I said, I enjoy Brian Staveley. I enjoy his content. I enjoy his passion. I enjoy the things he brings forth in the community. What I don't enjoy is when people are outright lying to this man and getting that passion in his heart stirred to a point of boiling frustration where you got to let some steam out of that pot. You know?
Yeah. I don't know why I became the face of conference frustration.
I am so sorry, caller. If you call back, I'll zip. Hang on, Eileen. If you call back, I'll zip this one up and have you come on through. I may keep Eileen on since I've been talking about her. If you do not mind, Eileen, hanging on the phone and allowing another caller to call because it can hold 5. Please call back, and I will answer your call.
I can share. I'll share the phone.
You'll share the phone? Okay. Well, and I'm not trying, again, I am only speaking from my observations, what I've experienced, what I've seen. I seen the moderators get chastened for not doing a good enough job when they're dealing with hundreds or 100+ people chatting simultaneously on regular speed. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing the best they can. I mean, gosh. And they're doing it for free, you know?
Yes, voluntary, and how can you keep up with that? And that Jerry, because they've changed everything, didn't know how to get into his studio mode where he could change it to slow mode. So, with that, I know those for facts. I was there observing, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, Oh my gosh. And this one wants to be a moderator apparently next year, and I wouldn't trust this person with a wrench to save my life. I wouldn't.
Well, not only that, Michelle, wait. The person who told all the lies about me to make Brian mad at me, he's got a conference spot next year too.
Not
I don't know
just
what's
you,
going on
sweetie.
because it's getting scary.
Yeah, not it wasn't just you. That's all that I heard from Brian on you was that he said that you threatened him, and I was like, "Really? That's really hard to believe." And what I
That's
want to
pretty
say
crazy.
about Brian is he is not unaccessible. The man does not, he doesn't have a
Well,
haughty
can I
spirit
say
or
something now then? Can I
Sure.
say something now to
Sure.
Brian?
Yeah.
I hope he listens to this.
Absolutely.
Brian, I never threatened you. I would never threaten you. And I don't even think that you're mad at me for like your own fault. I think people fed you misinformation, so you got really, really mad at me. That's all I can say because he and I have never spoken, ever.
And if you
So,
want, I can try to set up something in private where you guys can talk if he's willing and you're willing. And again, with Boy, if you're willing, he is
oh, of
willing
course.
because
I would always talk to him. I would talk to anybody in our community. You know, I don't know what happened, but the focus was so intense on me. And it's kind of like that 15 minutes of fame thing where people say, suddenly, all the spotlights are on you. And it's not always a pleasant feeling. It's not always a good thing to
Oh,
have
honey,
all the spotlights on you.
it was said that you are not even Mandela affected. And I said she wrote as a co-writer of Mandela
It was
Effect,
said
Friend
I'm
or
a government
Foe.
shill. It was said I'm working for the CIA. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm not, but these are pretty crazy accusations and they're so extreme. Like, why are the accusations about me so extreme?
And
I
why
only
would
have
you be
2,000
involved with
subs.
Vanessa VA and the other co-authors of a book called Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe? Come on. And okay, I'm going to say something now, okay?
It really
Those
is.
that are feeding him caca, all right? When he hears the truth, and now we can go into to Scarab performance. He was told that Scarab wasn't even invited, right? He was
Yeah,
invited
I
and
don't
he
know because I
declined.
wasn't part of that.
I do,
I
I
wasn't.
do
I wasn't
know.
part of that.
I know for a fact Scarab was invited. Scarab declined. I sent a message to Brian with that. And immediately when Brian went live again, he recanted that. When the truth comes through Brian's perspective, don't think that that man cannot discern, because he can. That will resonate in his heart. You can't, there's no way, if, ands, or buts. When he hears the truth, it hits his heart and it radiates out and around. So, and think that he comes on as puffed up, and he is passionate. He's passionate, and it's beautiful what he does, what he adds to the community. But he also knows a truth when he hears it. I will never tell anybody anything that I haven't either experienced for myself, observed for myself, and and it's always from my perspective. Now, when I told him about that, that's not my perspective. That's a fact. He was asked, he declined. Okay, and then that was
But he
the end
didn't.
of that.
That's why he was mad because he thought I said that. And apparently Jerry said that and he made a public apology. So Jerry apologized for saying that. I said he was invited into the montage. Michelle, did I invite you into the montage?
I'm in there, baby.
Yeah, so I invited everybody into the montage. That's all I did. End of story. I have no idea who was and wasn't invited into the conference. I just invited friends into the montage, and then I said to the channel that I got thrown under the bus by, I said, hey, you've got a lot of Flat Earth friends. Can you invite them into the montage?
Hold
And
on.
I got,
another super chat. Oh, it just left my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. This guy.
what did it say?
Okay, Paul Martinson. He says, the earth is flat as F. And by the way, I had to throw that in there.
Oh,
And you
my
know what?
gosh.
We accept.
It could be. How do I know?
I
It
know.
could be flatter than a pancake.
We don't know. The way that I seen it when I was in that out of body thing, was, like I said, I saw 7 in the sky, but they were translucent. They weren't oscillating. I saw the same continent structure and stuff like that. It was outlined in light blue, all right? Circles in the sky, and then the 3 suns, 2 of them were like orangey yellow, and 1 was bright white. And then I was standing on one. And since I was standing on one of the Earths, obviously, I was on an 8th one. But it wasn't, I didn't perceive
What
it
if
as
there's
flat or
multiple Earths?
round. I thought of it more because I didn't have any pony in the game, or, in that when I saw this, what frightened me about it is I walked around this wheat field all the way around. I was there for hours and hours discussing and talking, and saw free energy, saw this in the sky. But I was actually in our time. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I was gone, and I went there, and then 15 minutes later I was back. But it looked to me like as if realms like of possibility, probability, they stack up. It's not what we
Oh
think.
yeah, like multi-dimensional Earth, like that
multi
movie
realms that
Interstellar. Remember?
I'll have to watch it again. But that's
Yeah.
how I was shown it.
Love it.
I wasn't shown it as flat, and I wasn't shown it as a globe oscillating, flying through space. They were stationary in the sky. They were translucent.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about a globe flying through space, and I'm not convinced about anything that any scientist says. It is definitely this, because I'm not even sure we know what is at the absolute heart of our reality matrix. It might be completely different than what we see with our eyes.
Because how would we be able to experience authentic experiences if we find out that we're in a simulation, creating and then walking through and experiencing? How do we know?
Yeah, or what if we're walking through a multidimensional hologram, and every time we go up a level or over a level, it shifts, it changes.
With Beyond the Veil, they use they talk about DMT and ayahuasca. Well, what if those are cheat codes? Like if you're playing a game.
I think those are cheat codes too.
Yeah.
As soon as you get that DMT going, like when you meditate, you have to meditate deeply to get the DMT going, right? And the gamma waves going.
Yeah.
But when you take ayahuasca, that's a quick one.
Right.
I'm not recommending it.
No,
I'm not recommending
it's
it,
not a
guys.
recommendation or a discreditation. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I think that
I'm
there
not brave
are
enough to do it.
there are cheat codes available, just like with any type of gaming. So it makes us question the very essence of this place. When I walk outside and complain to my husband that where he built the shed is blocking the sun from the pool, and then when I walk out a couple days later, now the sun is on a whole different trajectory. It makes it so you really scratch your head and say, all right, wait.
Wait a second.
What's
because
going
you
on?
might have done that.
Or
you
a
might have
dead,
done that
withered
as
plant.
a Mandela effect.
And a dead, withered plant, and I just look at the leaves, and I'm like thinking, oh, we're gonna have to, dig this one up. It's dead, and then to go back out, and not and no specific months where it could have rejuvenated itself.
Yeah.
But within a couple of days, there it is, been full bloom, flowers on it, and I'm sitting there smelling the flowers. What? Wait,
See?
there's so
now,
many heads.
During the conference, Cynthia had the same experience as you. She said she had a plant in the shade that required sun. So she said, tomorrow I'm going to move that plant over. She went out with her gardening gloves and a little trowel, and the plant already moved over into the sun. The plant moved.
Awesome. The plant wanted
like
the
you
sun,
said,
so therefore
or the
the plant
sun
said, I want to be in the sunshine. I'm going to move
Yeah.
myself. See, how can you explain these things? How?
So with the Mandela effect, magic and miracles are possible. All things are possible. So I'm not going to judge people who have decided what shape the earth is until I get up there and look at it and say, oh, now I can see the shape. You know what I mean? And that's not going to happen. I mean, I'm not going up there to take a look.
You guys, if you want me to read a comment that you're making out loud or a question for Eileen, highlight my name.
Yeah.
So, at
Guys,
Awaken Activate,
sorry.
and then I'll see it. No, that's not. I'm just saying. Because,
I'm on my phone.
No, yeah, it's okay. You're fine. I want to make sure that that it stands out to me, so I can, because I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. And
I can't see the comments because I would need
I'll
really
read
strong
them.
glasses, and I'm on the phone, so it's impossible.
But if they at my name, honey, I'll read them. I'll read them to you.
Cool.
You'll if they So anyways, from this where we're at today, I think maybe, just a regrouping, a rethinking, and it doesn't take away. And this is from my perspective. When I know what for where I have walked to, who people are in their true authentic identity, what they're able to do here, what this place is about, what we're here to do, grow, glean, expand our soul, our awareness, and seeing this place. And this is from my perception. You don't have to agree, or you can actually disagree completely, but it's a place that has been created that is so different and unique because we can experience things that we can't in our natural state here. At the same time, we have all the tools and abilities to create, manifest, walk through, experience, and then and have that soul growth within us. But I've been outside of this place. I've seen lineups of souls or spirits or lining up to come in, waiting to be born into this realm, because this place is so unique from where we come from. We come from, and when we leave, we get to keep what we expanded and grow. But at the same time, when we leave, we're gonna perceive it differently because we're gonna go back to our natural state in the, with our light body, and we're gonna look at those experiences with just unconditional love, which is in our natural habitat. So it's okay. We got a question. Let's see. My life DIY. I did you above. I'm sorry, I missed it, sweetie. I have to run over to Rip and Rabbit Hole. Okay, yes. I'll listen more later. That's fine. Yeah, and if
Bye, my life.
Yes, the My Life, JoJo's, all of them are just
Bye, JoJo's.
Are just,
yeah, they're big in Ripon. They're the mods over there.
Well, they were the mods for the IMIC also, and others, of course. They're amazing women, just absolutely phenomenal.
Ripon Rabbit Hole is a very safe place to be if you want to explore all the possibilities of the Mandela effect. Mm-hmm. It's very gentle over there. There's not a lot of drama or strife. It's just a really comfortable place to explore.
And tomorrow, Brian Stavely will be there live on Ripon Rabbit Friday. So, and again, like I said earlier, I don't know if a commercial was playing, but I'm going to add Ripon Rabbit to my homepage so people can click on it and subscribe, and because he will be live on with AJ tomorrow.
I just hope it's not more about me, because I think my 15 minutes of fame, I think I shot through that last week.
Your sound went really low on me, sweetie.
Oh, I think my 15 minutes of fame from last week should be over. So I hope it doesn't carry on for days and days and weeks and weeks.
No, it obviously isn't, because of a conversation I had earlier. Like I said, I talked to somebody yesterday because my heart was broken, and I had to search. I had to search because I had to see this for myself. Did this really happen, or is this like hearsay gossip? And when I watched it broke my heart, because I know you. And then
don't let it hurt you.
No,
because look, it upset me, but then I had all these people come around me and say, we know who you are.
Yes.
We know what you're like.
Yes.
You don't have to be upset.
But
we know you.
Don't.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, they know me. I don't have to be upset because somebody is, I think they used me as a weapon to kind of
not just
upset Brian.
No, they used Brian too, hon. That's what I'm trying to point out here, is they used him.
Upset him.
Well, they used him in so many different arenas to get him mad at IMIC, to get him mad at, and Karen. They went through Brian and he's going through, and on top of it all, we know like life events or changes, like the big ones, moving, having children, getting married, traumatic or loss in the family, or there's some big traumatic, life-changing things that we go through. He's in a transition now of moving, relocating, so he's got that stress on him, and then all of this being thrown at him sideways, upside down, in every freaking direction. They used him. He was played. Don't play him. That's all I'm saying, because people that can see it. We see through you.
I felt, Michelle, I was the weapon that they used to play him with. They just kept saying, Eileen did this, Eileen said that, Eileen did this, Eileen said that. And I'm like,
and IMEC.
everything they said was a lie.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, Dan wasn't even asked, and and I mean, there were several things being thrown at this man simultaneously. That, I mean, it was hard. It was hard to watch, and then it was hard to see him get played, and then to see who is causing division and who's causing.
No hard feelings.
Can't hear you, sweetie.
Don't worry about it. No hard feelings. I know that you didn't single me out to just send hate my way for no reason. I know you didn't single me out to try to hurt me. So I'm okay. So Brian can just forget about any problems with me. I'm good.
If he watches this later, he's not going to hear you clearly. Oh, hang on, he did. Paul Martinson. All I know is we're not at a 6.6 degree angle, hurling 66,600 mile per hour through an infinite vacuum. Nonsense. We're at the center of creation. Yes, and if you need proof, look around you. Exactly, it seems to be like, isn't that what we're proving by her plant moving and getting itself in the sun? By the sun moving and no longer in that shed?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
By the Mandela effect,
Mm-hmm.
by, how about spontaneous healings?
Yes.
When people just heal and there's no reason for it, I think a lot of us have a lot more miracles than we even realize.
Weight melting off of me without me changing my diet. Just from changing perspective of food.
Yeah.
I ate everything I wanted when I wanted. I didn't change anything. And my doctor's like, well, what are you doing? What's your diet? Because I have the heart problems. He's like, what are you doing to lose this weight? I was over 200 pounds. I was like, nothing. I just changed what I thought about food. And he's like,
Food wanted you to change your idea about it, so it worked.
It did. It did. And I'm back to healthy weight. And he got worried after we lost Shannon. That was a trauma.
You got so skinny.
Yeah, I couldn't. Oh, I'm small. I'm a little less than that now. But what has happened is, I'm back in the pool because I didn't even get in the pool for a year. We just put the pool in, and then I didn't even get in it because of the memories with swimming with her. But now my muscles are toning, so I'm getting my strength back through the swimming, and I'm toned up. So my weight is stabilized, but it's muscle tone now instead of because fat is bulkier, but it weighs less. I mean, it weighs less, but it's more bulky.
Yeah,
so
weighs more.
And I want to say, and I'm sure he doesn't mind, Voynich. Voynich is the one that I talked to. I talked to somebody and sought some counsel of somebody very well respected that I respect well and trust. And I reached out to him today and we had a conversation. And he wants to talk to you, honey. He heartfully is sorry if you took in any way of what he said and the frustration that he was feeling. He is truly it is heartfelt, and and like I said, if you want to do that in private, I will get you to together or whatever, or however you want to work it out. But I talked to him today about the certain things that I heard over there, and he is so sorry, sweetie. I just wanted you to know that, and it's okay. I can say it publicly because you know what? It's a fact. He said it.
These guys
I believe
used
him.
to be like my flat Earth friends, and then suddenly I was like the huge flat Earth enemy, and I was like, how did that happen? How did I become some kind of an enemy to people in the Mandela effect who also believe in flat Earth? Because I'm just like, I don't have any enemies. I don't have any enemies in life, so I don't intend to have any enemies on YouTube.
Nor do you try to control people. That's not in you either. You don't say, this is how it is, follow me, because you've gotten to that point in your walk. It's when we get to these certain, I would call them landmark steps.
Yeah, milestones.
Yeah. Okay, milestones. Better word. Thank you. You get to these milestones of growth, and then you're like, wait, nobody needs to follow me. And we glean from so many different people the beauty that they put forth. But the one thing that I just really don't like is when people are causing division using the old paradigm, divide and conquer, cause confusion, and then having people separate when we have more in common. And if we just stick with the Mandela effect, which is that's the conference,
Yep.
IMEC,
Yep.
International Mandela Effect, we all have that in common. Why
Well,
separate over the stuff where we grow from there? Don't. Let's not do
well,
that.
you and I got very close because we both have the same philosophy in life. The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. The more we
Yes.
learn, the more we realize how
Yes.
little we know. And I'm
Exactly.
like, hey, Michelle gets it, I get it, but that takes sometimes a little bit of age, a little bit of wisdom. And the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. So I'm never going to tell anybody.
Okay,
What the
Brenda
truth is
Mitchell
about
just said this
anything.
to you because I know you can't see the chat. You are a beautiful soul, Eileen.
Oh, who said that?
Brenda Mitchell.
Brenda, you are an absolute true sweetheart. And
My
to be honest
Sky's
with you,
5D. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
My-
My Sky's 5D. We love you, Eileen. And then emoji of a heart, thumbs up, dancing, musical notes, dancing woman, musical notes, guitar, rainbow, vibrating heart, and then the emoji with the hearts in their eyes. And Brenda Mitchell used after her
TPK.
comment was per hands, hearts all kissy hearts all over the face, and then a yellow heart.
everybody in your chat room, Michelle, is so full of love and unity and happiness and kindness. This is my home. I went out of my home. I stepped into territory that was foreign to me, and I got slaughtered. And I'm like, I'm staying home. I'm sticking with people I know, people who are kind, loving, inclusive, happy, joyful. And Michelle, that's your chat. That's who your followers are.
And I'm gonna say, I've had Brian on here, so to try to separate you from him. Actually, when this froths up to the top, and those who were lying to him and trying to create division or chaos or divide and conquer old techniques, don't think he's a fool, people. He's not. He's got a beautiful heart. He's passionate for the truth. So if you're not
Well-
being truthful, he's going to find out. And I would say
Sadly-
that is the gulf or whatever that there was tried to be created between you two. It will stop. It will end because Brian, he comes over here and says yo all the time in the chat stream. He's been on the platform. I enjoy his platform. I enjoy Karen B's platform, and I'm going to say, I don't resonate with everything they talk about, but I resonate with enough, and I glean and grow and learn about people and about myself through going to very different and diverse. So what you did, honey, is not wrong. It's not wrong. We should step out of our comfort. How are we ever going to learn about other cultures, countries, ways of understanding,
True,
why they
true.
believe the way they do, what's going on? So don't wall yourself away from things. Learn. This is what I'm going through, and I promise I'll talk to you offline about it. But I have learned by going on another platform, exactly like what you did, discernment. Discernment. Are you despitefully using me to bring attention to yourself, to cause a problem, to take a spoil, to make a mockery of me, to come after me, to gain or glean personal private information about me? What's your motives? And just because, again, they don't know who they are, they have an identity crisis, I still do. And so what I do then, I walk away from them in peace. I don't want to cause any disruption over there, disharmony. I just walk. I walk because we have that choice. We have that sovereignty. But to gap ourselves away from opportunities and sticking yourself out shows such strength. Do you have any
Thank
idea
you.
how much strength that it took for you to sit through that?
I I didn't
I
feel so good
applaud
last
you.
week. Last week was hard, but I feel better now because I'm not that important that anybody has to ruin my life. I don't run the Mandela effect community. I don't have a big channel. So I think it was done on purpose just to cause division, just to use me to upset somebody else
Okay,
and
not
cause
having a big channel is
division.
because that's your not you because you have a channel, but you don't you don't do lives and do, like what we do here.
I
You
think I
do
did two this year.
you do different things over there, but that's because that's what you're wanting. You want to be close, and that's why I like these call-in shows.
I'm just
I want
saying,
to get
I
to know
don't think they were
everybody.
targeting me. I don't think I was the target. I'm not big enough in the Mandela effect community to be the target. I think I was
No,
used
they thought
on
you were
purpose
easy.
to cause division, to cause drama, to cause strife, to make the community look like it's vulnerable and angry and emotional. And that's just not true.
And
We don't
easily
have natural
manipulated.
division. Huh?
And easily manipulated. That we can all turn
Yeah.
around, we can be, together in this with this one effect, and then turn around and tear each other apart. But that I
I
call
want to
a
say,
controlled
Michelle,
opposition, infiltration. You want to talk about something being infiltrated? Not the IMEC, the community.
our community was infiltrated big time and stirred up into a huge hurricane of a storm. But let me say that the actual Mandela Effect channels in the conference, which was me and Dark Wolf's Den and Unbiased on the Fence and Moneybags and Eva and
Eva was awesome
Suso,
too. I
they
caught her
all
presentation.
spoke about Mandela effects. Every single Mandela effect channel spoke about Mandela effects. I can't comment on anybody else at the conference because I don't know them. I didn't book them. I didn't review what they were going to talk about. But everybody who had a Mandela effect channel actually spoke about Mandela effects at the conference. So the problem was that people were getting back and saying, well, nobody talked about the Mandela effect. And I know it kind of felt that way if you didn't listen to the channels that are in the Mandela effect community. Do you know what I mean? Suso, Moneybag, Eva,
Yeah, that's
Shane,
what I was trying
Gary,
to.
me.
Were you here in the beginning when I was talking about? I even simplified it to a concert. You buy a concert ticket, and then you
No,
got the
no,
pre-band
I
that
didn't
comes
hear
out,
that.
right? And then the band comes out, and then so you're listening to this band, but they only play one song, and they keep playing it over and over and over. If we actually go to a conference, if you are at a physical conference, I've been to many in my lifetime, the speaker will go through a process, and if there's several speakers speaking, they don't repeat the same thing over. It builds, it builds, it builds. Now, what the problem that I saw with it, there's pros and cons. That it went for 7 days straight, 7.5 to 8 hours of footage,
I
and when
know
with people's
so much
schedules,
material.
yeah, popping with so many people popping in and out by how their schedule fit. I even personally, I went in, and this one lady went for. I was trying to listen. She went for 15 minutes about all of her degrees. I left because what they taught me in college. I know you're going to completely resonate with this. The humanities courses that I took on art history and the on the science, the one without lab, I took human anatomy, in American history, world history. None of that stuff matches up with what we're living in now. What good was that freaking degree in those classes? It's like the
Just
only
so you
constant
know,
is math.
just so you know, Michelle, because it wasn't live, we were told to introduce ourselves before we talk and give our backgrounds, like what we studied, where we work, and where we live, so that people would know a little more about us personally. So I think some of that might have been the instructions of you have to go in and talk about yourself, and that's because we had an online conference. I think last year they said Jerry did all that. Like Jerry would get up and introduce each speaker and say, here's
Yes.
so-and-so.
Right. And so if you're in person at a conference and it builds, that's one thing. But it being so long, and like I can't I can't go into 7 days of that long of footage and try and fast forward to where's Eileen?
Yeah.
I want to hear hers. Where's Moneybags? I
Shane?
want to hear. Where's
Terry?
Shane?
Where's
Right.
Eva?
Eva,
Yep.
I heard. I got to enjoy Eva.
Oh, good. Wasn't that good?
Yes.
They were all good. I think
She was towards
I
the
think
end.
everybody in our community who has a Mandela Effect channel, I think everybody did really, really well with it.
And I
and
think
it was a
Brian
little
would be an
surprising.
awesome addition to next year's. I don't know.
Well-
people think that he can't
I think so too.
bridle his
And
tongue,
I
but he
actually-
can. He can.
I emailed the board and said he would be a great flat earth presenter. I emailed them that when I was told that he felt left out. And then the proverbial poop hit the fan and I was his number one enemy. And I'm like, oh crap, but the sad thing is he's probably not coming on next year, and he should. But
He
somebody
should.
else is coming on next year who threw me under the bus. And I'm
Brian,
like, whoa.
Brian should just we
Whoa.
need to let the dust settle. We need to let Jerry think and reorganize how he wants to present. The agenda. Not a lot of us. It's assumed that we went to this IMEC website and looked at the schedule. You need to not assume anything when it's on a live feed on a YouTube channel that we're going over to a off-site location to look at the schedule, because we're not. I didn't. I clicked in when I could to see what was going on, and then if it, then I would click out. I caught Eva. She was towards the end. She was freaking awesome. Off the charts awesome. She actually calmed me down.
Another great person to present with him in the Mandela Effect community would be Truth Seeker 69. She's completely Mandela affected. She's in the flat earth. She's definitely in the flat earth community. And he could pull together the best people, not the best, but, really solid people who are both Mandela affected and flat earth. So both are represented at the same time.
And I got to say,
I'm not on the board, so
Brian
I
can
can't
go-
invite anybody. It's not me.
Yeah, Brian
not my
can go
show.
5.5 hours nonstop presenting factual changes in itself. He could go on and present that where he lived, name changed, and everybody kept calling it the old name, even though the name of the town completely changed. I mean, he could go in so many different directions, and he wasn't even done. He went for 5.5 hours straight on his stream, presenting new Mandela effects that he's so observant that he could just go on with Mandela effect. He doesn't have to lead it into flat earth, because he would take up more than the time allotted with just presenting these changes for people to go and look into for themselves. I mean, I don't know what the criteria was put on, because I heard that's why Dan turned it down. I figured it was because he doesn't like to be on camera, but I could have been wrong. But I guess there was parameters put on the discussion. But, as for Brian, like I said, he was on somebody's being interviewed. It was about the Mandela effect. They ended up power streaming for over 5.5 hours, and he wasn't even done yet with the Mandela effects that have come into his awareness. And I resonated with so many of them that it was just off the hook. It was an off the hook presentation. So I think he would be a good addition, but we're going to have to give him some time to, because he's in a transition, moving across country, which is huge. And he had so many disinfos or dividers that were throwing so much at him all at the same time, and keeping him in a state of, already moving across country, mind you, and keeping him in such a heightened state of passion and defense that the man couldn't think straight. They were messing him about, he's got such a beautiful heart. And just like with you, I know enough of Brian to say, stop it. Why would anybody, it hurt him. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
It's
I
hard.
think it was done to upset people and divide the community. I really do. I think
And
it
you-
was done on purpose.
My goodness,
really do.
and I've known you for years. And for Brian to think
Years and
you
years.
threaten him, that's not even in your nature. It's not
Us
even there. It
people
doesn't even
don't
exist.
kill bugs because bugs have life in them, and life came from God. So who are you to kill a bug unless it's going to kill you or your child? Or, if you defend yourself, that's one thing. But to say that something that's alive is less valuable and has no value, I mean, you know how I am about stuff. Everybody here in your channel knows how I am because we get to know each other over the years.
That's why I do. I open up the phones. I want to get to know. Now I want to say something, Olivia. I approve
Olivia!
I approve that comment from King Kai Yin Ray, because that's another thing that's been going around. Normally, I don't allow any kind of comments that put down others, but that is another thing. So Eileen, don't think that the only mud is going in your direction, because it's not. I think they thought of you as a woman and a soft, easy target. And then let me read what he said. Now, normally, like I said, this was held for review, but I allowed it because this is something else that was said about the conference. It says, no one wanted to see the crackhead-looking guy come out in a NASA outfit, knowing people are trying to bridge a gap between FE and ME, and how that let me go back. It popped up on me. I'm sorry, King Kai. Where'd it go? Where'd that comment go? I lost it. Hold on, Eileen. Okay. Trying to bridge the gap between FE and ME, and how that allowed to occur as an introduction. Now, okay, I want to again express, if you missed the beginning. Number one, this is a fact. Jerry did not get to preview. You remember, he put on the first conference, he organized it, he got it all together, it was in person, and he recorded it and then released it out for public consumption. He did not get to preview anybody's presentations before they aired. So Jerry, the Dark Wolf's Den name is completely tied to this conference. He started it.
It was his idea.
Yes.
He thought of the conference.
He's
and
the founder.
He got it going. So
but he did
he's
not
like
get to preview
the father
any.
of the conference, and he does an amazing job.
He does,
really
and I just want to
works
make sure by
hard.
addressing what he said, that
Yeah.
Jerry didn't get to preview any of these presentations before they aired. He has since pulled one of the presenters. I think one of them that was making it sound like people were just nuttier than a fruitcake. Okay, that one's gone. It's no longer even accessible. But he didn't get to preview any of this. People made their presentations or did their interviews with this one man that we all really don't know much about. To be quite honest, I would have preferred the interviews be done with Jerry and whoever was being interviewed. Jerry is very capable of doing it, but he also works full time. So do a lot of the people. But needless to say, he didn't get to see any of it before it aired. He got to pick up the pieces as this blew up in his face in real time.
You're absolutely correct. And King Kai, can I just say that I'm not on the board. I'm not part of the organization. But what I know is that the conference started on Saturday, and it started with Regina Meredith, who's on Gaia TV, coming as the keynote speaker, because she's kind of like a famous person in, like, I don't know if everybody knows Gaia TV.
Eileen.
But anyway, the video
does she have
you're
super white
talking
teeth
about,
and brown hair?
Huh?
Is she the one with the super duper white teeth and the brown hair?
But anyway, the conference
You're like, I don't
started
know.
on Saturday. Okay, wait. The conference started on Saturday. It was Father's Day on Sunday, so the conference took a break. And a person who is in the conference and on the board decided to upload a Father's Day video. And that's the one I think that everybody is like, oh my God, this is an insult to the Flat Earth community. But that was in addition to the conference, because the conference wasn't on Sunday. Then the conference came back on Monday, and Moneybags did his, I did mine, and Shane did his. And like, we had this great
you're
panel.
on the Monday lineup. Okay, now I know where to
The
find
Monday
you.
was so much fun.
Okay.
And everybody was really happy in the chat. Like, nobody was mad. And then on Tuesday, I don't know, because I didn't get to hear the Tuesday morning. I didn't get to hear it all. I had to work. I couldn't sit and listen to the whole conference 8 hours a day. But that's when Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things started getting a little bit dramatic and intense over there.
Yeah, but
So
you got to see. That's why I'm trying to talk about what's going on in the background. All of this crap being slung on Facebook, directed at Brian
Sunday
and all this stuff.
The conference was off. The conference wasn't even playing the day that the video came out that really, 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 I was told, really upset flat earthers. And, I have nothing to do with IMAC or everybody's presentations, but everybody, I think, would apologize and say nobody tried to offend. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for anybody, because the minute you speak for people, Michelle,
right,
you put your foot in your mouth and you get in trouble.
That's
so
why
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
I'm only talking from the perception of observation of what I seen transpire during that week, and I am only addressing 2 people that I know. Actually, there's more that were affected than that I know that were. I would have to say one is you, which I talked about, and the other target was Brian. Brian was used. He was used by them, lying to him, filling his head that.
All I can say is I'm not mad at. Well, actually, I'm mad at one channel that you don't want me to say which channel it is.
Oh, well,
they're the ones who lied about me.
It's okay.
That's the only people I'm mad at. I'm mad at the people who lied to Brian about me and turned me into some kind of a weapon to upset him. It's like poking a tiger in a cage. And the more you poke them, the more angry they get. And they used me to do the poking with things I never, ever, ever said. The only thing I ever did was help with the channel montage and invite flat earth channels into the channel montage. That's all I did. Apparently that was a big mistake. I shouldn't have done it. I learned. Don't be so friendly. Don't run off into communities that you don't know and you don't have a solid foot in, and invite them into something.
Paul Martinson says, you keep making excuses and you'll soon realize none of it's provable. It's true. I mean, everything changes. Okay, I've tried just about everything, and it's almost always contradicts a sphere. Oh, okay. So I take it that Paul Martinson is a flat earther, but you see, this isn't something that I compartmentalize. I don't care if you want. Like Eileen brought up earlier, if enough people on the quantum level believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's a flat plane, we're all going to experience a flat plane. That's where, we, on the collective level, will negotiate on what's going on in the world stage. If we all think we're spinning through outer space, which has been pushed in front of our face, for eons through the television and, television news and propaganda, had us create something different. Right. And had us create a top tier down instead of a place of equality, unity, beauty, and knowing our creative abilities within and reflecting those out around, that we were creating what they were projecting to us with the haves and the have-nots, and when in truth, really, we're equal in every aspect. If you want to look at it from a God, how God looks at us with unconditional love equally for each and every one of us, no matter what our experience is here. And all the tools, this is something that, as time has gone, I've realized that every tool we're born with, we forget because we go through all these different educational programs. We forget. Yeah. We lose our identity.
Pretty much brainwashed.
Yeah, and then it's coming back.
Yeah,
and we're going through remembering.
And media. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So if enough people think it's flat, we're going to create in the quantum level, and we will all experience a flat plane. Now, I have to say, he's got some good points. Why is it, if we are oscillating and darting through the skies, as is said, why do we see the same stars? We shouldn't. The stars should change all the time. They shouldn't appear in our night sky, with a little dip or big dip or north star. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't. If we're really moving, why aren't those stars taking, like, why aren't we passing those and coming into new ones? You know what I mean? There are some logical things here that they bring up that don't marry up with the narrative that has been pumped into us.
Well,
That's
like we
not
said earlier, people who are in the flat Earth community, they look at science and they say, "Hey guys, the science is wrong. The science is not working here." So there is a very, very good chance that we are on a flat plane. You know, that is not something that I would ever dispute. I would
I think
never
that
dispute it.
I think there's, and like I said, DMT is like a cheat code to hop to another realm. Check that place out. I also think that with using cheat codes, that you can become self-aware, know your true identity, your abilities, your gifts, and enhance them. That's my perception. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
And not only that, and
Perception
I'm
is
sure
pretty out there with the multidimensional universe, the holographic universe. We're kind of way out there where we're like, I don't think it's round and I don't think it's flat. I think it's whatever a group of people want it to be. And most people think that's crazy, Michelle. They're like, no, you can't decide the shape of the earth. And I'm like,
the
look
lunatics
at the Mandela
of today,
effect.
or the, what do they call it, the geniuses of tomorrow? I don't know. Yeah, people will think we're crazy. But then when when you get this, when you get it and it resonates through and through, you create. And then you understand that on the quantum level, if a whole bunch of us think it's flat, on a quantum level, we're going to create that. When we take our sovereignty back, when we understand these very tools that we have within us, that they've been running on autopilot, and then we've been basically giving our power away, creating what's been pumped through media or education. You're right. And then we almost have to go through a deprogramming. We have to we have to go through a unwashing of the brain, and then we have our hearts get cracked open. We have a paradigm shift in our thoughts, and it's new, it's profound, and it's beautiful, and it's
That's where I'm at. I'm on the same thing, on the same page with you. I'm in that experience of the reality matrix. I don't see it as set in stone, and I see it very, very almost miraculous, that anything can change. Anything can change at any point. And that's what the Mandela effect is teaching me. Anything can change. And when you're in that kind of a reality matrix, it's like, whoa, who needs DMT? Who needs ayahuasca?
Yeah, I didn't use any of the cheat codes. This was a natural occurrence that just happened.
Me too.
Just started happening. But,
Me too. But you and I have near-death experiences.
Yeah, I wonder if that has
You and I have been on the other side and been resuscitated. And we came back going, whoa, there's something on the other side, guys. I'm not sure entirely what it is, but you do not die. You survive the death of the physical body. And I know that about you because you and I have done so many live streams and chats together. We both experienced that.
Yes, I've been there. I actually saw the ambulance. I actually went to another place. I was there. I was talking to a gentleman. He showed me many things. I was there, and I didn't have to come back. I don't know what I was doing. What was I doing? I came back.
But you did.
But you know what?
You did come back.
But I'll tell you, I don't think I was there. I think I was at a place where I wasn't able to know exactly where we come from, because if I would have been aware of exactly, I wouldn't have had the desire to want to stay where I was at, because of that love and the animation that was going on, and just everything was so vivid and so beautiful and so alive and so full of unconditional love. But if I would have went back home, the first thing I would be doing is, I'm getting back in line. I want to go back in. So I'm glad I came back.
My sister had the experience like you did, and she was like, I think I chose to come back because the next thing she knew, she woke up in ICU, and a couple of weeks had passed by, and she thought it was a couple of hours that she was sleeping, and she was unconscious in ICU for a couple of weeks. And she was like you. She went to this beautiful place that had vibrant colors, and she saw her grandmother there, and it was amazing and beautiful and peaceful. And the next thing she knows, she wakes up in the ICU. Me, I flatlined, and I got shoved out of my body, and I hovered on the ceiling waiting to come back in my body. I got no angels, no sound, no tunnel, no beautiful pictures and colors, and no dead loved ones. I just
Ha
was on
ha.
that ceiling
Ha ha.
waiting to come back.
Ha ha. Well, now I have out of bodies. That's different from me. That started in 2000, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" But yeah, and the gentleman that came, I could only equate with what I would think of as, from being brought up as a Christian, as Jesus. But he didn't
I
look
know.
like
I knew
Jesus.
you were going to say that.
He didn't
Yep.
look like him. He didn't look like the one that this painted on, that we portray. Didn't look like him at all. And he was dressed in clothes. This was interesting. He's dressed in clothes of my time period. I think maybe not to scare me. I don't know. But the thing, but
That's
what
unusual.
radiated off of him, when like the place I was at, sitting on that log under that tree, was pure unconditional love, vibrant, beautiful. But when this guy comes and approaches me, the intensity of the love that radiated out and around, I really didn't want to come back. And then the things that he showed me, of course, my heart
How
locked
did
in,
he
and
look
bam, I was
different?
back.
How did he look different from all the paintings and pictures?
Okay, first of all, he had brown hair. He had he's not white, and he had curly hair. Now it was a bit it was longer, but not like the wavy blonde. Like it was curly. It was curly looking, and his eyes looked different, but it didn't change, like the essence that was coming off of him was such pure love. I wasn't afraid of him because of what was radiating out around him as he was coming.
Yeah.
But I could only, like I said, I can equate it to what I would think would be Jesus, but he didn't look like what I would think would be Jesus from
Well,
what
I'll
I've
tell you
seen.
what. Historically, according to his DNA, Jesus was born and raised in the Middle East, and they have a lot of dark curly hair, and they have brown skin. You know that if he's truly Middle Eastern, you might have seen a more genuine representation than like the Christian Western, blonde hair, blue eyes,
Well, he
white
came
skin.
out wearing Levi's and a polo, which was and that's what we were wearing back in that time. I think that was to make me
Oh
not
my
afraid.
gosh,
It's kind of
that
funny,
is
huh?
so cool.
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know, but I hope that tomorrow I don't have to go through this again tomorrow. I don't want to go
No,
through it again and again and again and again and again. I never threatened anybody, and the only thing I did was invite people into the channel montage. That's
and
it.
and
End
you're
of story.
and you're willing to talk to Brian, and you are. I
Of
mean,
course.
I know your heart. I know it. I'm not
Of
to
course I
square
would
this
talk
up.
to him.
I just ask. I'm just asking people, please, don't lie. Don't
I just
discredit
want it to
people's
end.
name.
I want the drama to be over. I just want us to say, hey, the Mandela Effect community is a very big, diverse community,
Yes.
and there's room for everybody.
Oh my
There's
God,
room for
yes.
all religions, flat Earth, round Earth. Some people think it's a dome. Some people think it's like an eyeball. There's room for everybody
Concave.
in the Mandela Effect community.
Remember Bilu in the bushes, the alien? It's
I do.
concave. It's concave.
It's concave.
Okay, hold on.
And it could
Paul
be.
did a super chat
If you
again.
think
Hold.
about inner Earth and the Antarctic and the hole up there, who the heck knows what inside Earth is like, right?
Right. Okay, hang on. I gotta read. I like to make sure I read super chats for sure. I can't believe that this guy has just been such a blessing to this channel. I don't know how he got so lucky, and I have so much gratitude for the support that
you've
you're.
got a happy, loving channel. You don't have much drama.
He said,
this
okay,
is a
the
zone.
basis for the globe model is pure satanic scientism. Evolution happened from nothing, and there is no creator. Their model, not mine. I believe in the leprechaun. I believe in the leprechauns before that. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna say, okay. This is to answering of what your statement was there, Paul Martinson, that to say we came from slime and sludge, This place, to me, I don't see anything outside of God. This place is divinely created for such events and experiences that we're having. It does. You cannot separate. You can't say we came. I cannot. In my heart of hearts, I don't know where I'll be in a year from now, but I do not feel that we came from some kind of a amoeba or whatever that multiplied,
Yeah.
that made such an integral, beautiful, divine,
Plus,
functioning,
world.
able
Yes.
to think with free will, brains, heart, lungs, this avatar that we operate, that our soul inhabits and have been a spiritual connection through the ether to glean and get answers that being connected. That's where I think the identity crisis comes from, is people don't realize. And if you're a Christian, you brought up Christian, believe Christ when he rent the veil and said, you have access yourself. Don't go through a mediator. Don't think you have to go through a pastor or a mediator. Go directly to yourself, because you have access. You always have had access. It's just that's my
See,
perspective.
I personally don't think that we are smart sludge, that we developed out of sludge and amoebas and
Or
dirt.
from
I don't
monkeys, for
believe
that matter. Darwinism is crap.
I
I'm
don't believe
sorry.
that.
I don't believe in Darwinism, but I don't. But would I chase off somebody that did? No.
I'm
I,
like, okay. No, really, Michelle, if people say to me, but Eileen, I do believe in that, I'm like, okay,
that's fine.
that's okay. You have your beliefs. I'm not going to tell you that you have to think exactly like me. So that's where I just honor people's beliefs. And I'm like, okay, I don't agree. I don't follow Darwinism, and we came out of amoebas that became wonderful human beings and animals and
Isn't
all this
Darwinism
stuff.
that we were monkeys manipulated by aliens, and then, or whatever, or that we were monkeys that evolved?
Yes, Darwinism is that we came from the apes, and it's the survival of the fittest. So the smartest ape always lives.
And
So that's
why do we still
Darwinism.
have apes then?
Good question, because they never found the missing link. They're like,
Right.
what's the missing link?
Lucy.
It's not Lucy.
Have you seen?
not
I
Lucy.
knew it.
We said it at the
Well-
same time. I think like they found a fragment of a jawbone and said, this is Lucy. She's the missing link. And there's no bits of her.
Okay,
There's
but
a tiny,
again,
tiny bit of her.
with what you know, Eileen, about how we can create and how we're able to, move about in this place with all the tools, with enough people believing it, you don't think that would manifest here on this plane for us to discover and say, see, I'm right? With the part of, we come in here with ego and we want to be
Like you,
right.
I got my ego flattened last week. I have no ego left. I am a walking egoless Mandela affected person, but I'm okay. I'm strong. I'll survive. I'm not upset. I'm good. I'm good, guys. I'm good.
I agree with that point.
I had an outpouring of love, and so many people contacted me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, why should I care what people say about me? People know me.
It's your name,
the people
honey.
I care about know me.
And it's Brian. It's not just you that I'm talking about here. I mean, I'm calling out too. You and Brian, which most people would say you guys are polar opposites. No, you're not.
Nah.
Do you want to
I don't
control
think
what
so.
Brian thinks, believes, how he moves, and about his very being? No. Does Brian want to control what you think and how you move and what? No. Think bigger, guys. Think bigger, bigger, bigger.
He was just told things that I said that I didn't say. So that's it. I can't go there because I can't.
I think that could be
prove
mended.
that I didn't say those things. I have the emails. I have the video. I can prove I didn't say those things, but then I'd have to prolong the agony of this, and I'd have to produce a video showing what I really said.
Right, and for him too. And I think a simple conversation, which is something that Voynich wants me to set up with you. But his is for a sincere, heartfelt apology. He may actually do it on a stream. I don't know.
I'm good with Vonich because he said some things, and I said, hey, you can't call me that. And he said, oh, okay, I didn't realize that this wasn't your conference, that you didn't organize it. And I'm like, no, I'm a presenter. I'm a presenter there because I asked to present. Okay, I knocked on their door and said, "Hey guys, can I present?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, sorry. I thought this was all yours." And I'm like, "No, no. I made the mistake of trying to get people into the montage. I'm like, let's get some flat Earth channels in at the end of each day.
I don't even think
they
you were
play
looking
the
at it that way. I
montage
think
of
you were
channels.
like, Mandela effect, period. Send them an invite. Send them an invite. If you're Mandela affected, send an invite to, go into this montage.
I was asking so many people to send out invites because I have hardly any emails.
Now, I didn't
have
know that we
yours.
could do that. I accepted the invite. I did what I needed to do and actually, if you didn't frickin' remind
I was like,
me,
Michelle, quick.
if you were not on my butt, I mean, you're so connected with me. You're like, if you were not on my butt, I would have been late.
Put your channel montage in. You're like, no, I'll do it today because there was a deadline.
I did it that day. I had to go through and find, and then I'm like, okay, well, I picked a very, very old one when I was using my cell phone to record, and it was a whole, that's before I changed my name to Awake and Activate, and I was like,
yep.
Here you go.
Yep.
Boom.
It was
do
very
what you want with
heartfelt,
wherever you want with it.
You talked about your heart, and we only had 10 seconds. We had 10 seconds to say something that had meaning, and you did. You talked about your heart. So I was like, oh, that is totally representative of Michelle and her channel.
Yeah. Well, Moneybags, or Evan, he knows a little bit about me, from speaking to him, and it's interesting on how they selected. I don't know. Maybe they've got this discernment within them too. But the first one that I actually physically experienced that changed right before my eyes, there was a buzzing that went on throughout my entire inside of my being. That buzzing that I felt like when I went and saw the 7 Earths in the sky, and I was standing on one. When I came back 15 minutes later, there was this like buzz that not.
What was that? What was the effect?
My Bible changed from denarius to penny.
Which one was it? Was it the famous wolf and lion one?
No.
It not that
I
one?
was reading, and it was where it was talking about give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and he's like, whose image is on the denarius? And they said, well, Caesar's image. Well, I put my place marker in, I opened the Bible, and then I would read back over like where I left off to get back the flow. And lo and behold, the denarius was no longer there. It was penny. And I'm like, I thought that was Lincoln. I freaked, girl.
Penny.
It was, now penny, that was that one that personally zinged me into like that buzzy feeling within.
Do you know where penny comes from? It comes from England. It's a penny farthing, which is just a tiny, tiny amount of money, and the Americans took the penny. We took the penny from England, and there's no way that penny was ever in the Bible. No flipping way.
And Caesar's not on the penny, guys. That's Lincoln. I know that much. But that one, that's the video that I sent in. I was talking about that one and how it zinged me to my core, my heart, and whoo, you
do kind of go, oh my God, what's happened? Have I gone crazy, or has this changed? That's your first thought when you're first, like Vanessa VA has the best record of the beginning of Mandela effects for people because she's got the Angry and Fearful series, like hundreds of people, and they come out and they go, oh my God, what is going on? This is so scary. What the heck is going on? And I think that's a fair reaction if something that you know to be true, you know it in your heart, has suddenly changed.
I read it the day before, and then I was just like picking it up to go on with my reading. Paul brought up something interesting, and you know what? We'll talk about infiltration. From the beginning, there has been people, like when they were showing the Bernstein, they walk in another room and it changes, and they walk through CGI.
That was fake. Yeah, that was fake.
It was fake. So this has been going on
I
from the
did
beginning
believe
of
it, though. I believed it for like a day.
I did for like a second. He said, and when a person breaks down the footage in expert video editors, it takes about 0.5 seconds to realize it's CGI. And many pro studios have done that over the years. Now, I didn't actually show my Bible, which I probably should have. I should have put it up to my cell phone, showing where it now says penny on it. But I was just talking about it, and I didn't even have green screen or nothing at that time. It was in my very beginnings, and I was zinged. I was, and the Mandela effect came along when this is, and I'm gonna end the show with saying this: the Mandela effect, and from my perception, is a huge flag of awareness, and the people who have been able, honored, and have the eyes to see that this is something that is so off the charts, phenomenal, that it should bring us tighter together. So we need to discern some that may come in to try to break up such a strong movement. And if they're trying to cause division or emotional responses or harm or defaming somebody's name or character, stop it. Stop it. Hey, I think just stay on the phone with me just a second. I'm going to zip the show up, okay?
Oh,
Just give me
bye, everybody. You better tell people you didn't tell me about this live stream, and you didn't tell me to come on. This is all natural.
Oh, yeah. I did the same with Brian as I did with you. I said, I'm going to be talking about you. I'm going to be calling names. I did send you an email warning. I don't know if you read it, but
I
I said...
haven't seen it. Are you kidding?
Okay.
I look at my emails like every 2 or 3 days. I'm terrible with emails.
Yeah, well, you'll see it in there because if I'm gonna use your name and I'm gonna blast it out there, I like to at least give you the option to come in and either defend, call in, and speak your piece. If I have got it wrong, I'm always willing to be corrected, because I'm going
about people in the community. And thank you for reaching out to me before tonight to say, hey, keep your head up. I know you. Just keep your head up. This too shall pass. Your message to me was very loving. And all of you guys who sent me emails and comments, thank you. I'm not going to name you all, but you've all been a big support during the last week, which was kind of painful. But I'm good now. I'm okay now. I'm over it. It's done. It's in the past. It was a silly, stupid drama. It never should have happened. And I think somebody did it on purpose. I really do, just to upset the community.
And just like I feel like on Karen B's, when everybody was there and they were frustrated, calling and telling her on her own home, like it's visiting a home, that they would have banned her from the chat at the IMEC for saying that this is crap. Why can't she have her opinion? And why are you coming to her home and to say such things? I mean, what? I don't know. They stand out, and over time, it will stand out more and more and more, when we need to just go back to the fundamental basics, no matter where we have grown to.
We're not going to be standing out there.
Yeah, wherever we've grown to.
People.
Wherever path we've taken, whatever direction that we have went to, whatever rabbit holes of exploration, whatever internal work, whatever narrow path that we're walking, remember, the one thing that we have in common is that huge flag, that Mandela effect, that we should make sure that is the focus and not allow anything to come in between, that we have that in common. Don't let anybody come in.
There's room for everybody. There's room for everybody here.
Yep. And to bring, don't allow people to drive wedges where wedges aren't necessary. We can see you. We know. We can see.
Yeah.
We're not.
Guys, don't build firewalls. Build bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Let the community grow and come together in a more peaceful way.
And there's so much more with love. I don't care. I know people say, "Oh yeah, New Age, blah blah blah." No. This is a love that is like so beyond comprehension, and it's not a fluffy feel good love. It's a love that was used to be beyond my comprehension. To walk in this for each person, no matter what direction and what path they're taking, and have the respect for their sovereignty and their rights to be and flow, and their rights to be able to express without me judging or calling names and putting down, and without trying to victimize, put asunder, trample on, stomp on somebody's good name, their nature, and what they're presenting, putting themselves out there daily for the betterment of the community as a whole, to just go back to the basics roots of, are we Mandela affected? Have you seen phenomenal anomalies, phenomenal changes around this place that are so jaw-dropping that and when I saw that, when that came to pass, and I can tell you from my perspective, the love and the gratitude that I had that I wasn't walking this out alone. It wasn't a thing that me and my husband were just going through, I'd have a dream, we would talk about it and then walk through it. And all these phenomenal off the chart things going on. Hang on a sec, Eileen, I got you your sound off on the thingamabobber. You can talk to whoever you want in the background, because they won't be able to hear you if you have something to take care of at home. But it's so off the charts. It's jaw dropping, eye opening, and to see so many people, many, that just it cheered me up. That number one, I'm not going crazy. Okay, this place is flexible, and number two, I have learned and grown from what people are sharing, what they are putting out there, and I personally, I don't want somebody trodding down my sovereignty and my rights to express. So why would I ever want to trodden down, lie, disinform, or defame anybody's good name? Because when we come in here, we're given a name. We leave here, we can't take anything that we're here with us. But when we leave here, it's our name that will, and since, like Eileen, she's written a book called Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe. That book will outlast. And why go after somebody's good name? It's not necessary. Remember, if you're affected, we're in this together. And we glean, we grow, we share, we expand, we express. And don't allow anybody to try to oppress, subvert, or remove your rights to create, to be, to grow in this beautiful understanding that we're all coming to the loving knowledge of, and that we have one thing in common, and that is the Mandela effect. And next year, I'm sure it will improve on how it is presented. And I do hope that he does put them out in incrementals of each person, so we can go and see him like he did from the year before. It's always a learning experience, and let's put this behind us. Let's come back together in the unity, in love, in the unconditional love, and the rights and the freedom to be. Don't be the one that's out causing a division in this community. We're not having it. We're going to stand strong together, always. And you never know who is really close with who. And when you say things about somebody, you don't know the actual relationship that they may have with that other person in whom you are misrepresenting. Food for thought. Always remember to share what you know and listen so we can grow. And I want to again thank you so much for that angel who's blessing my channel so much that I am beside myself. Thank you for all of the support that you are giving. I'm humbled, very humbled by it. I will talk to you guys soon.